everybody. Thank you for tuning in into Facts of Life with Abbilicious. Hello. Please share the program. Thank you for tuning into Facts of Life with Abbilicious.
7:30 p.m. live on Facebook and on social media platform Fact of Life, where the truth is being said or told as it is. Presenter is Abby Uju every Wednesday by 7:30 p.m. on issues from political, social, religious, entertainment, humanitarian, and charitable affairs across the globe is discussed and aired live with special guests every week. My people, don't miss it at all. Would you like to advertise and promote your product, businesses, services, works, events, or shows on Fact of Life with Abbilicious Program? Kindly get in touch. Our rates are reasonable and affordable. Contact us on Fact of Life with Abbilicious at gmail.com.
Hello, Adeniran, darling. How will you please share the program? Thank you for tuning in.
Everybody.
Hello. Welcome to Facts of Life with Abbilicious, where the truth is being said or told the way it is. Hello, Adeniran. Thank you for tuning into the program. Please share the program. Today we have two lovely special guests who's going to be joining us. We are going to be talking about the topic for discussion today is going to be about the bank sector, both in Nigeria and also in other African countries. There's a lot of controversy that's been going on. We have a wonderful guest of ours who his Twitter went viral pertaining to the banking issue that has been, all the bank charges that they've been charging people in Nigeria. And he's a doctor by profession here in the UK. And unfortunately, it was something that it was a random thought. And before we knew what was going on, the whole thing went viral. And people started saying, yes, they have been charged. Also, they don't understand why they're being charged. Which prompted this interview and to ask these questions. Topic for discussion is various bank charges in Nigeria. Is this right or wrong? Are vulnerable consumers of Nigeria aware of being properly informed? Are they being properly informed what those charges are? And educated about it as well, including the reason behind it. Why is there no financial ombudsman in Nigeria? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the guy, the lovely doctor whose Twitter went viral and prompted to the point that his Twitter account even got closed because of what he wrote. And this has gone up to a point that people started taking it up and saying, yes, some people are complaining about the charges. So we want to know, is it fair that when you're withdrawing money, you get your money, when people withdraw money from your account, when you go to the bank to withdraw money, you get charged for withdrawing money, you get charged for putting money inside, you get charged for a check, you get charged. So where are those charges and the reason behind it? This is something that we need to start discussing. So I'm going to get Dr. Olufumilayo, we're going to call him, because he's meant to be joining on the live program. I think he's still getting used to he's a Twitter person. So we are going to call him now, and then we will be able to talk to him to find out the reason why this has happened and the fundamental issue that prompted his Twitter, the thing that he put on Twitter for people to listen to. So we're calling him now. Gonna be putting him on speaker. Hello, Dr. Olufumilayo. Are you able to connect?
I can actually see a live video.
Oh, that's the one. So there's a little button there with two people's faces there. So I think you should be able to connect in between. Can you see it?
I can see watch video, but I can see live.
Okay. Hi, Candy. How are you? Thank you for tuning. Please share the program. Yes, you know where the comment this thing is. There should be like if you want to invite yourself to join the program.
I'm not too good with all these videos. I'm coming. I'm trying to see.
Okay, if you can get it. Hi, Candy. We're talking today's topic. Thank you for tuning. Happy birthday, my darling. We're talking basically about bank charges in Africa. What is, there's the wonderful doctor is on the show at the moment. He was the one who his Twitter went viral regarding bank charges in Nigeria, to the point that this young man's Twitter account got closed. Hello. So is it the same thing in Ghana? Because the message across, from what I'm hearing as well, by Tanzania, when we put the thing out there, that in fact in Tanzania that they even charge you for looking into your own accounts. So we need to start, for people that are vulnerable, on the vulnerable aspect of society, like the elderly, those who are not educated enough to understand what those charges are. The same in Ghana. Oh my goodness! So it is a global thing in Africa. So how do we tackle this? Because we'll still be speaking with Dr. Olufumilayo on the. If he's not able to, if you're not able to join via this thing, it's okay. We can talk on the phone. So
I'm just trying to find how to join actually.
Okay. You still haven't seen it? Let's see if we can. You're on the Facebook page, Abby? So
yeah, I'm on the Facebook page.
Okay, make a comment. If you make a comment or something, it will then show up, and then you'll be able to see if you can. Please, guys, share the program. Let everybody get involved. Okay, that is why we are upset with the pastors and others. Exactly. This stealing needs to stop. I've been hearing a lot of stories, especially with the fact that even I mentioned earlier on that in Tanzania. Okay, hello, how are you? Can you find the button? That's our lovely, one of our guests that is on the show today. So, Apple's press on the thing, and there should be a place where you can, see if you can invite yourself in to speak. Or we can just, make sure that we just talk to you online. To call in, the calling number is there for everybody to be able to call into the show. We need to share it actually. Are you able to see it?
No, I can't see.
Don't worry about it. Okay. Let me just ask you the questions. Yes, Dr. Olufumilayo, my very handsome, intellectual, lovely brother. Yes, you are not my brother because what you've done. I don't think you have an idea. Hello, Oluwatosi. Please share the program. Thank you for tuning in. So, board members are making a while savers. Yeah, exactly. Candy, it is a ridiculous thing, and Dr. Olufumilayo went. He just said it was a random thought, and out of the blue, the whole thing just went viral. So, Dr. Olufumilayo, tell us what prompted you to do that.
It was basically a random thought. It was basically a random thought to a large extent. I think the week before or something, I needed to send money to days afterwards, I was just thinking about it, and then I just wrote about it. Not that I particularly intended for anything
to come out of it, to have hatred for people to, but you know what you've said and you know what you mentioned has become an international issue where people have been going on about it, that why should anybody be charging those ridiculous amounts in people's accounts, to the point that we were being told that they were taking, there was a particular lady who said she had paid her house help from here because she also travels back and forth, and that the lady kept on saying somebody is stealing her money. So for somebody that is not educated enough to know the awareness that they don't even giving bank charges. So tell me, what are the, it's late, we've just found out as well that there's no financial ombudsman in Nigeria. So what do you think about all this issue from the topic of discussion we're having? Do you think, the various bank charges in Nigeria or in other African countries, because we are learning now that it is not just in Nigeria but in other African countries, that this is becoming an epidemic of money being taken, transactions that you expect that they won't collect money for, they are taking it. So tell me, what do you think about those three topics? The various bank charges in Nigeria, is it right or wrong? Or are vulnerable consumers of Nigeria aware of being, properly informed? Are they properly informed about what is going on and educated as to what the bank charges are? Why is there no financial ombudsman in Nigeria? So I want you to explain, please.
Okay, for the financial ombudsman, to a large extent, I'm not sure Nigeria has such a facility. If you have any complaint, you have to report it with the bank and hope that the bank will sort it out. I don't think there's an independent person or an independent organization that helps people to sort out their problems with banks or anything like that, which in itself is not good because apparently it puts you at the mercy of the bank.
Is that for various banks, or if you're banking with Diamond Bank, if you're banking with First Bank and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's really no central, there's no central complaint. Well, there's the Consumer Protection Council actually that you can make a report to. But the problem with that is it's not specific for financial transactions.
Okay.
It's just the Consumer Protection Council where even if Blue Band magazine, even if it is a food company that you think they are doing what is wrong, you can report. Is anything you can report to them. So I'm not sure that's a good thing. But I think as far as it goes, that's about the most independent body that we have.
So they are just for something similar to NAFDAC.
So it's not actually NAFDAC. Even NAFDAC is sort of like under it because it's just consumer protection. So anything you consume, from food to drugs to healthcare to banking stuff to anything really. So it's an organization that is set up to sort of protect consumers. But the problem with it is because it's not specific, it is the same organization that will go after, say, if KFC was messing up with their restaurant, or go after.
Hello, Moiba-san. Thank you for Okay.
Or if a bank is messing up with customers. So when you really look at the broad of work that they have to do, you realize at the end of the day, it's likely going to be an ineffective organization because it's not unlike NAFDAC that is focused on food and drugs. Consumer protection is quite broad, and that's about the only independent organization I can think of that can help to sort of address those kind of issues if a person has an issue with the bank. Talking about the bank charges per se, sincerity, I do.
Hello, Eze. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, go on. It's great to have. Yeah, go on.
Sincerity, I don't feel that they should completely be scrapped. That was never the argument. 1,000 naira transactions, which is really what the majority does. By the time you put 52 naira in 1 million cases, that's 52 million naira per day. So there's no way you want to explain to me why somebody makes that amount of money on a daily basis in a third world country with that kind of economy. So those are the real issues. 52 million naira a day would give you over 1 billion naira a month.
Wow.
Almost, you understand? So you can't, there's no way you want to explain the justifications for that. And then, I mean, that's just transactions. Then you go to ATM card. Then for every new card, you charge 1,000 naira. When it gets lost or whatever happens, you charge another money to replace it with all sorts of funny excuses. It's imported, the company maintains whatever chips. I mean, the real problem is, even if you say, okay, you want to charge a token for ATM card, and you don't want to make it free, so that people who lose it will be more careful with it, which is sensible. How about people who lose it not as a fault of their own? So somebody,
I heard that they are making they're charging 1,000 naira on top of everything as well. I think 1,000 naira if you want to say, for instance, if the thing goes missing, so that they're charging that a ridiculous kind of amount.
yeah, the charge is the same. It's still the same. The charge is the same to get you another one. So my problem is, okay, let's even say somebody was careless with it and they need to sort of pay it so that other people will be careful with theirs. Probably that might be sensible. But in a scenario where somebody loses their card not as a fault of their own, they go to use an ATM machine and then it gets stuck and they complain. I mean, this is something you can verify. You can ask where the ATM machine, you can check the machine and see that it's actually sort of stuck in the machine. You understand? You can verify these things, and there's no way in the world you're going to put the cost on the same person for something that is clearly not their fault. But obviously, whether you throw your card away, whether a machine swallows it, whatever happens to the card, if you lose it, you're going to pay to get another one. So it is those kind of blanket charging that is quite very horrible. So no one. So a lot of people felt, probably I was saying, to completely replicate what goes on.
You know, I think I'll say this. I'll say this. Charges, especially here in the UK, because you're here as well, and you're practicing GP training. And you know, we had a conversation before you to appear on the show, and for my own understanding is this: when you have a certain amount of money into your account, even in this country, they do not charge you that you put money in. They don't charge you that you put money out, and that's ridiculous because you're meant to trust the bank enough to put money inside. The bank is meant to be a safe place for you. Now, if you have current account, it now depends on the type of current account that you have. Bank charges comes from when you have direct debit, when you unauthorized overdraft, where you overspend money and stuff like that. Those little charges is to caution you, to make sure that you are not misusing your bank, your account, and all the account facility that comes with it. But when you start getting to a point where people don't, especially people from the vulnerable part of from the lower part of the community, i.g. the elderly people, the widows, the widower, mentally and physically challenged, and also the less privileged, or people that are not educated enough to understand why those charges are, it is very wrong. And then what then happens is that because they just see it, they become very paranoid. Hello, dial phones. Please share the program. Thank you very much. We are with Dr. Olufumilayo, whose Twitter message went viral and sparked all this debate regarding the bank charges that is happening in Nigeria, and also across Africa. And basically, there's been a lot of my other African friends and colleagues who are also saying that this thing is basically not just in Africa alone. I mean, sorry, in Ghana alone. Hello, Yomi, please share the program. It's not just happening in Nigeria alone. It's happening in Tanzania. It's happening in Ghana. And some of them have even commented about it. So we need to make sure that we are able to create the awareness. And Dr Olufumilayo is actually on the phone, also speaking to us. So go on there, Dr Olufumilayo. I'm all ears. Please continue.
And another thing to really consider is when you look at the fact that you were talking about information the other time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people are not aware that for a lot of those charges, some of them can be avoided, like the SMS charges, for instance. In the first place, let me give you a simple example. You can use your phone, or you can use your account to recharge your phone, to sort of load credit on your phone.
Okay.
Because the bank has some sort of an arrangement with the telco so that they can take money from your account, and instead of you going outside to look for a recharge card or something like that, they take money directly from your account and it gets into your phone as a recharge or something. Now, sometimes it tends to happen that whether network or whatever reason, you try to do that and then it fails. The bank sends you a message to say, oh, you've tried to send money as a recharge, it has failed. Then when they correct it, they send you another message to say, oh, it's been corrected. But the interesting part is the actual transaction you want to do, which is loading your phone with credit, has not been done. But then you've gotten 2 or 3 messages that is telling you about what is going on, and then you are charged for that.
So you get charged as well for that.
Exactly. So it is those kind of little things here and there that just tends to make people get really angry.
So is there no way to rectify those charges or take it off? Don't they do that though? Are they not able to take it out?
I'm not aware that they are. They may be able to, theoretically. I'm not sure that practically they actually do that. So, I don't know. I can't say.
Hi, Joseph. Please share the program. Thank you, darling. But it's sad that the situation is the way it is. Why would they be taking our money when the thing has not been, rectified, and there's been mistakes and errors? Is there no way to complete? This was the reason why I asked for the financial ombudsman. That is there no way for them to be able to, if they have a board, a financial ombudsman, they'll all those little things, they will be able to rectify it. And the banking sector, instead of the central bank only gives the I've seen all the regulations and stuff like that the Central Bank of Nigeria has put out there, but many of these banks, they are mainly private owned banks. Yes or no?
Yeah, they are. I'm not even sure I know of any government-owned bank apart from Central Bank.
What about First Bank? Is First Bank not government-owned?
Is First Bank government-owned? Well, I'm not aware of that.
Okay. Hello, Ishola. Please, thank you very much. Please share the program. This is very important for you guys to listen to. Yes, so they tend to come in and, take the money out. But how about those that are in that vulnerable situation that are not aware of what the money is? So how are the banks and their staffs communicating to them? You're encouraging people to open an account, but you're not telling them that if you do this, if you do that, 100 naira will be taken out of your money, 200 naira will be taken out if you lose your card and stuff like that. Bearing in mind that they don't have overdraft facilities.
Yeah, I think another issue that we have is the fact that if you look at this thing critically, the monies that we are talking about, they are not usually huge monies.
Yeah, but if you are taking like millions of people's money. It does add up to millions.
Exactly. So it only adds up when you look at it from the perspective of the number of casualties rather than one individual. So for one person, if somebody deducts say 20 naira, 30 naira from you, it doesn't feel like a lot. So most people don't tend to say anything. Everybody basically just moves on. But when you sit down and you look at it, that if you cheat 1 million people of 4 naira, that's 4 million naira.
Wow.
So it's difficult for one person to go and complain about 4 naira, which is what I think is the only reason or the major reason why this has lasted for this long. Because it's not actually the case that somebody goes into one person's account and takes maybe half of.
But that's fraud. That's fraud and stealing. Because if you're taking somebody's money just because, that means when people you ask them to open their account free of charge, you're more or less, it's as if that you're more or less fraudulently taking money without you've got them as customers, but yet it's like they are paying for having the account in your bank. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense.
Yeah, I do. I understand what you're saying. Well, the only thing I know is it was never like this. So I have no idea what is going on with the current banking system. I don't know what is driving them. What I definitely know, growing up in Nigeria, we used to have a time when you put your money in bank and you leave it there for years and the money actually appreciates.
Thank you.
I was alive at that time. It was not.
We're still all alive. You're not dead yet.
No, what I'm just trying to.
I know.
Is that whatever explanations they have, whatever technicality is going on, what I do know is it is very awkward and it is something. A lot is wrong. If you put money into a bank and you leave it for a period of time, and when you come back, the money is lower than what it is. There is no explanation you are going to give me that is going to tally or make any sense.
Yeah, because it seems that when they are taking that money,
You are going to explain that to me. So if we start to have a situation where money is probably going to be better off if you keep it under your bed, at least it does not lose anything.
yeah, but would that be encouraging people stealing?
Sorry?
Wouldn't that be encouraging more people stealing?
Stealing in what sense?
As in, when they know that you have money in your house, obviously there's going to be a rise in armed robbery and all that stuff.
No. Obviously, practically, you can't even do that because most places now, if you're working, nobody pays anybody cash. Everybody gets money paid into the bank. So the only way forward is to fix the banking system. Obviously, the way forward is not to boycott or to avoid or to not bank. The only way forward is to put a lot of heat on the bank, basically. And somebody just needs to sit down and review whatever nonsense they're doing. It's just that simple.
So, but what?
It's that simple. Because the funny thing about all this, sometime recently, I think 2 or 3 years ago or so, sometime recently, the charges actually used to be double this until it was reviewed downwards actually. And it was the same argument at the time. They will buy diesel and they will buy internet and all those dealing.
Yeah, but if it's a private bank, those allowances should have been made into it. The more customer you get, obviously you're going to you make your money through giving people loan, bank overdrafts, and all those things, and then you get little charges, but not for putting money into your account, not for looking into your account, not for if you misplace your card and stuff like that, you charge them ridiculous amounts. For those that are on a vulnerable situation, how are they supposed to know? And they, especially the elderly people, all they know is that they're being sent money from, family from back in abroad are sending them money, and you tell them that, oh, the amount that you were sent was probably 20,000 naira, only for them to go into the bank and they'll be giving like 16,000 or something, because the bank charges have taken some of the money. So why is that? This is the thing. Why would you be, especially if they are international? Obviously, yes, you can say international transaction, but it's meant to be peanuts, not ridiculous amounts. That, so even if you now put your money that you're supposed to have a certain amount in your bank account, it would then go to minus something when you are not even, unfortunately, you are not when you are not even using, you don't have an overdraft facility, so you end up having a minus.
Yeah.
And that's wrong.
Yeah. I think you mentioned something now that I was going to say. You mentioned something now, and it just skipped my mind. But well, I mean, the bottom line to all of these things is they really need to sit down. Yes. So what I was going to say, I remembered, is that unfortunately you were mentioning less privileged people, elderly,
Yes.
and those kind of things. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we don't run, or we don't have a benefit kind of system, or a system that considers that somebody is less privileged, or somebody is physically challenged, or somebody.
But you know, it is in the Constitution. Are you aware of that? Unfortunately, it's because I think what has been happening is this: it is in the Constitution, the vulnerability, and because I feel that most of the politicians now don't really care about the masses, to the point of, and the masses themselves are not able to know that they do have the awareness, they have fundamental constitutional human rights to be able to know that they need to actually do stuff. Okay, I'm going to read some of the comments on the screen. Yomi, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning into Facts of Life. He's saying all banks are doing this, including First Bank. Every time you withdraw money from ATM, you get charged. And then you know, this is ridiculous. When there's some private owned ATM places where you are supposed to, obviously if you use it in some areas you get charged for using it, but if it's a bank wall, this thing from their own bank, they should not be charging. It's ridiculous.
I think they don't charge if you use the same bank, but the issue is again, another way to look at these things is we need to be fair with this thing. So imagine a situation where we are saying that for you to transfer money from one bank to another bank electronically is going to cost you 52 naira 50 kobo. And then somebody says that for you to withdraw your own money from another bank ATM is going to cost you 65 naira. So I don't understand how that adds up. I don't understand why it should cost me more to take my own money through another bank's ATM than sending the money to another bank. I don't know whether you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. You know, there's a new system, I don't know if you're aware, even here in the UK, whereby now, and a lot of people didn't know this until when this thing just came into effect, whereby if you want to, and they're saying it's because it's to do with curbing money laundering, whereby people, if you're now you go to the bank to do a bank transfer from your online banking, you go into the bank, you must have the person's account. Meanwhile, before, you can just go in and pay in cash. But even though you don't get charged for that, people are, especially those that are elderly and stuff like that, that cannot really walk and stuff, and they're not computer savvy, they don't like online banking. I've been a victim of it, so it gets a bit worrisome when you have to be typing stuff online and do bank transaction. I get a bit, me personally, I don't really like those kind of things, especially where the vulnerability, even though they say their system is very secure, but how secure is it? That to the point that an elderly person who just wants to go into the bank, withdraw some money, pay it into another thing, ends up, having to get confused. And the money is on them, and then somebody comes along and realizes the woman or the man, the other man has money in the house, and then gets a group of people to try and steal. So I think, personally, the banks in Nigeria need to review these charges. I am also told that they don't give loans. I think you spoke about it yesterday when we spoke, that the loan issue, that they don't get loans. Please enlighten us more about that.
Yeah, I was saying that basically it's beginning to look like the money they make from the charges and things is enough for them not to even do the actual business of banking, which is probably the reason why they rarely give loans to anybody. They rarely support any small businesses or fund anybody's projects or anything, which is the real avenues for banks to make money. So the procedure for getting loans and those kind of things are extremely stringent, such that, well, I'm not even sure I know anybody who has successfully gotten a loan from any bank. So,
but why is there no bank overdraft? Because sometimes you find bank overdraft.
Theoretically they exist. I've never seen it. I don't know how it works, but theoretically they exist. The only thing I know and I have seen is, I know that some accounts they can take your money till you start to owe them. But again, there's something called minimum balance, which is a particular minimum you can't withdraw your money beyond. But again, so I mean, the logic behind bankers and how they reason is beyond me. I don't know it, but somehow it makes sense to them, and that's fine.
So you end up owing them, even though you don't have. You end up owing them, even though you don't have a bank overdraft, but because of the charges. Hello, Adedoyin. Please share the program. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, go on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That So for some funny reason, they can deduct you till the point where you owe them, and if any money shows up in the account, they take that deduction. They take that out first, but you can't withdraw beyond a particular amount of money. I don't get the logic behind that.
But that's fraud.
Sorry?
If I say that's fraud, that's blatant fraud. If you're taking money for the fact that I've got my account with you, what's the logic in that? Am I paying for having my money in your bank, or did I open the bank account for free for me to feel safe enough in order to put my money there, and also to be able to withdraw my money without having to have this anxiety that my wages has been paid in, half of it is going to go on charges.
I honestly don't know. I mean, you can only wish that the people who are in control and the people who are in management can sort of sit down at some kind of a round table and explain the reason for this thing. For instance, I was trying to look at people's comments and people's opinions on this matter, and some people who were sort of pro-bank and trying to explain it were saying, oh, the 52 naira 50 kobo, that the 2 naira 50 kobo actually goes to the federal government, and the 50 naira goes to NIDSS.
So what is he doing with the federal government?
Sorry?
What is the 50? Did you say the 50 naira is the one going to the federal? So what is he doing with the federal?
2 naira 50 kobo. 2 naira 50 kobo to the federal government.
Okay.
And then 50 naira goes to NIDSS, which is like an organization that makes the transaction possible.
Okay.
Do you understand? that the NIBS charge of that 50 naira per transaction is a CBN policy. So the banks are saying, oh, their hands are clean, they don't know anything about it. It's a CBN policy, the money goes to NIBS. But you know the interesting part.
Okay.
If you Google NIBS and try to find out the people that make up the committees or the board or whatever, it's headed by a deputy governor of the city with a representative from all the banks. So effectively, the CBN has set up a policy that takes money from Nigerians per transaction that technically gives it back to the same banks that takes it away from them. So saying that
isn't that ridiculous?
I don't understand. Because this same NIBSS is constituted by the same bank and the deputy governor of CBN. So that's why I say the logic behind this thing, I'm not sure I understand it. And I wish that maybe somebody who is a top gun or something in the banking industry can sit down to explain this thing.
I think it's time to call them to order on this issue, because it's very unfair that people are, especially like I said, the 5 vulnerable human beings of society, who are the elderly people, the widows and widowers, the less privileged, the special needs, physical and mentally challenged. And unfortunately, many of those, because especially when you have people that are not even educated enough to know what to do, and they go to the bank with good intentions of they want to withdraw their money, and suddenly they're there, this thing is not what they expect it to be. Now it sets a panic mode. And I remember that, especially where you have parents who do not understand why money is taken out, they're taking money out of their account. So they would rather go to, if they have family here, they'll say, oh, send it through certain places so that they won't take money. Because then many have, according to the stories I'm hearing, many have closed many of their accounts, their bank accounts, because they never used to do that. And now suddenly these charges have just risen from nowhere, and they've started to take it upon, because a lot of people who have bank accounts in those days never got charges the way they're charging them. And I think you mentioned that as well. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So I said, I think you mentioned that as well, with the charges and stuff like that. Of people collecting all the charges, taking it, and then going back on, to that, which affects the masses. And this is something that I think a lot of people, like they said, many people have been talking about it. There's been, let me just go to some of the comments that we are reading here on the page, where people are saying that, this is just wrong, and there shouldn't be a reason why people should be charged ridiculous amounts on the Facebook. Let's just go back onto it. I want to try and read some of the comments that we are seeing here, and a lot of people talking about it. So it is something that has become an epidemic. Somebody was saying earlier on, when the post came out, that they should let's go into the
people talking about it. So
sorry.
It's something that has become an epidemic.
Okay.
Somebody was saying earlier on, when the post came out, that they should.
1 second, sorry, the thing came up again. Okay, we have some various comments here. I'm just trying to see if the thing is not letting me. Maybe I'll be able to read it from the top of the this thing, but most of the comments we are seeing here is to do with what people feel about the situation itself. And you have I'm just trying to go back into the main this thing here, where they are saying that this bank something needs to stop. And okay, look, I came across this online. Some of the Hold on a minute. I'm just trying to find the Central Bank of Nigeria released a new set of guidelines to charges by banks and other financial institutions last April 2017. The new charges became effective on May the 1st. I don't know if you're aware. Are you aware of that? Yes, sorry. The new charges became effective on the on May 1st, 2017.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I was saying that it used to be more than that. It used to be double or something.
Okay.
Before that.
Okay, it says that they have, here are the key things you need to know about these changes. You can download the guidelines by following the link above and then read below with the explanation below. Interest on deposits. Banks are mandated to pay an interest of not less than 30% of the monetary policy rate, MPR, for any cash on savings deposit. So if the banks are supposed to pay, are they there using the opportunity to take? Do you think that's the reason behind when you pay money in, they pull £5, 5 naira or 2 naira, or is it 100 naira? 100 naira is even a lot of money. You know, as I mean, 100 naira should be able to buy some puff, innit? So, yeah, go on. Okay, the monetary policy rate is the rate at which the bank borrow money from the CBN. So could it be that the reason why they're doing that is because the money that the bank is meant to be paying back to the CBN, they are taking it through the consumers without even telling them that that is fraud. That's blatant fraud. Because if in their policy, does it state there that they are allowed to do that? Okay, listen to this. So, the monetary policy rate is the rate, I think I read that. For deposit held as collateral, the bank will pay a negotiable interest rate subject to a minimum of 30% of monetary policy rate. This means if you take a loan from a bank and use your cash deposit as collateral, the bank will pay you a minimum of 30% of monetary policy. So the bank is actually supposed to pay, that's if you borrow loan, which is 4.2. Interest rates and lending fees is on the main thing to be able to get this, this information is on approved Central Bank of Nigeria guidelines of bank charges. So you guys can Google it. For those that are, they're not educated enough and stuff, you can actually, for those of you that are educated enough, have the awareness, you need to make them understand what these bank charges are, because this is getting worrisome, especially where I've been told by one or two people that somebody even committed suicide because of this stressful situation. They actually thought they were stealing their money. Before they knew what was going on, the whole thing became overbearing. They became very depressed. So it was as if that they were owing the bank money, when initially they know they put money inside, they got confused. So there's a lot happening, and this nonsense needs to stop. If you're collecting money from people, and because the bank, from what I am reading here, it is obvious that some of these charges is to do with the fact that the bank themselves have to pay CBN back. So the only way they can raise that kind of money is by tapping into their consumers, their customers, this thing as well, claiming that their charges. Yeah, go on. We have, okay, one more thing. The banks will also, okay, this is there's a lot here. Electronic phone transfer will now incur charge of 50 naira if below 10 million.
That's the one that we were talking about.
Okay, so if it's below, is that the thing I need to know is it per transaction? Because I think you mentioned it's per transaction that these charges are being done.
Yeah, it's a transaction to another bank apart from your own.
Okay. Bank draft still remain the same as 300 naira and 500 from current and savings account. So what is the bank draft actually meant to be for? So the thing is quite explanatory here. Sorry?
I don't use bank draft. I don't know what it is.
So I need to know, when did this issue start? When did they start all this? When did this charges? When was this charges? When did it start? Because I'm a bit surprised, because I know that we never had any issues with bank charges, apart from if you had loans and stuff like that. But suddenly, it's become an epidemic.
I think to be honest, those things crept up over time. So,
Like what year did it start? Do you know?
sorry?
Do you know the year it started, or has it been something that's been going on for a long time?
I can't say that, but I think I think it's with the recent internet and telecommunication stuff. So
Okay.
it came with this internet banking, telecommunication kind of banking. I think that was when it all started. Because with everything you do, which was supposed to, in quotes, provide convenience, they all got charged. So
Oh,
whether you are trying to use the internet to check your account balance, or use or try to quickly send money using your phone, or whatever it was, it all got charged. But the issue is, by the time you take your time to look at all those charges, 4 naira here, 6 naira there, like that, before you know it, it all accumulates to a lot, even for one person, not just of when you're talking about.
okay. But you know, let me ask you this, because sometimes you have bank theft as well from the staff. Because there was a situation here in the UK recent, couple of, I think it was a year or two ago, whereby somebody, you know, would take money from the customers' accounts, like £1, and you know, he was doing it for over a long period of time, to the point that the thing, I think he stole about almost nearly 2 million. In fact, I can't remember what the story is, so I don't want to say what is not. But basically, he stole the money. And could it be that some of these things, the bank themselves are not aware of the epidemic of the consistency of, you know, this bank charges that are creeping up? And because from what I'm reading here, banks are allowed to charge card maintenance fee. What is card maintenance fee? Are they cleaning the card? I mean, what does that mean?
I don't know. The only argument I've heard is because the cards are imported from somewhere.
But what is the Ministry of Finance for? I mean, I need to understand, and the CBN. I mean, this is the reason why I asked about this financial ombudsman. And the reason why each country is encouraged or is supposed to have a financial ombudsman is when issues like this arise, and other banks themselves, following the financial law, anything to do with the constitution. Obviously, you know, in the constitution, it has each section of how the monetary system is being utilized, is being handled, is being run. If there's fraud, how they manage it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it's quite surprising that these things are not even being done very well, and to the point that it is the consumers, the masses, that are the ones suffering it.
Well, to a large extent, CBN is supposed to regulate commercial banks. That's the theoretic thing. However, the problem I have is most of the people that end up being CBN governors are usually one or two of those same people that have run commercial banks sometimes in the past.
So more or less, they go there to benefit from it, instead of making sure that the things done there are for the benefit of the consumers.
Yeah, exactly. So more or less, it's unlikely for them to get to the central bank and then want to make any real difference or any real impact.
Okay, listen to this. Oh, sorry to cut you short. Something called my current account. They even have a current account maintenance fee. Is that to use to wash the current accounts? Or, when you talk about maintenance fee, what does it entail? For somebody who is elderly and just opens, you say, okay, we can give you a current account. Oh, don't worry, madam, it's for your this things. Don't worry, sir. You will get interest, because normally current account is supposed to yield you interest, a bigger interest than savings account. And then what happens is, you get a bank overdraft. Supposedly, if you run out of money, and then whatever wages that goes in there, they will automatically take it out with a bit of interest rate on it. So it's like a mini loan for the consumer. But if you are then saying that you are actually using this current account, you're charging them current account maintenance fee. What the hell is that? Is it that you are washing the account? Are you vacuuming it, or what is it what is with the maintenance fee? Is it that you are making sure that it's secure? What does that mean? Because it says here it says current account maintenance fee will be charged at that's negotiable, but subjected to a maximum of 1 naira per mil when you initiate transfer out of your account. What the hell is that? So you are even charging somebody 1 naira for saying, okay, I want to take money out of my account to another person's account. Okay, for forex transfers out of your account using SWIFT, you'll be charged 0.5% plus any other associated offshore transfer charges. Plus, if you transfer $1,000 from your domiciliary account, they will charge you £5. So you even get charged £5 for doing that. Okay, so where does the interest rate comes in? Withdrawal on domiciliary accounts attracts a charge of 0.05% of transaction value, or $10, whichever is lower. This means they can't charge you more than $10 for withdrawal. Bank draft still remains the same at 300 naira and 500 naira from current and savings account respectively for account holders. It is 500 naira plus 0.1 of draft value for non-customers. Bank can also charge one. What the hell? What is all this? Electronic, most of these charges needs to be scrapped. New hardware token.
That's why I said that the best thing to do is for them to sit down.
Okay, sorry to cut you short, my darling. New hardware tokens will cost a maximum of 3,500. What is new hardware token? What is that? While software tokens are free, banks will charge an SMS rate of not more than 4 naira SMS. So even if they tell you to send, where they'll say, if you want us to be sending you SMS, they will charge you 4 naira.
Yeah.
Is it not meant to be free? Okay. So what is hardware? If you lost your hardware token, what is hardware token?
Token is like for you to transfer money securely. The token is more like a little device that generates an automatic number. You know the way if you want to transfer money, or if you want to pay for something online using your UK bank card.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's a particular amount of money, they will want to confirm and send a particular SMS to your phone.
Of course, yes.
To enter the code into the website you're paying something for. Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So the token is something like that. So what the token does is every time you press, it generates a 5 or 6 digit number for you. So you will add that to your PIN.
Okay.
Every time you try to transfer money from your account to another account.
You mean the one that, let me ask you, sorry, you're going to go back to that. You mean the one that, normally when you, even on your email, Google will ask you, what is your, this thing that you have to put a code to be able to ask. So,
like that. If you want to open an account or something that they'll say for security purposes.
Exactly.
Send you an SMS. Or your iTunes on iPhone. If you want to probably change your password or log into iTunes elsewhere, that they will send a message to your phone and say, enter this code somewhere. I mean, I really think, for instance, that token, for example, I don't understand it.
Hold on, do you know what they said? It is 3,500. If you lost your hardware token and you want to recover, you'll be expected to pay a maximum of 3,000. Because of what? It is free now. It is free. The Google section, your email, if something goes wrong, you get those things for free. 3,500 naira for what? Something that is free that they get for free, even via email. What is this? So if the guys may say, so are they now saying that because the thing is being transferred or the hardware, so they're still making money out of the consumers? So what's the point of owning the bank? If it's a private bank, you should put all those things in place. If the central bank, so may I just ask this, if they're paying central bank money, then in what capacity are they able to pay their staff? If central bank is meant to be generating money to different banks, and with central, this is the reason why financial ombudsman is very important to have in a country, because central bank themselves, they're not doing it right for the masses, and this is the truth. They're not, because all these charges should not be there. You even get, okay, there's another one. Electronic fund transfer will now incur a charge of 50 naira if below 10 million. So if you want to do an electronic bank transfer of 1,000 naira, you will still pay another 50 naira on top of it. So instead of, tell me also, okay, flat, RTGS transfer will cost 550 naira. What is the RTGS again? Hello?
What?
RTGS.
I don't know what that one is.
Okay, banks are allowed to charge card maintenance fee $20 per annum, or its equivalent for foreign currency denominated debit and credit cards. Naira debit and credit card will cost 50 naira monthly in card maintenance fee. No wonder, you see, these are the reasons why a lot of people are very worried and just trying to understand why all these charges. This is a big scandal here that needs to be looked into, and I pray and hope that the government sets up a committee to look into this is wrong. These are just totally wrong. And I think the only way the only way that this can be seen to is if the masses themselves stand up and defend, and put a stop to it. Because for people that are vulnerable, how much is in their bank account that they are taking this kind of ridiculous money out of it? Yeah. So on a lighter note, tell me, what would be the last this thing that you want to see on this interview? Because we know that there isn't any financial ombudsman. You've explained that it would be nice for them to have one. But having said that, other things that you would like to chip in, or kind of advice and things you need to speak regarding your Twitter thing that you posted. Let me even go back onto it. The Twitter that broke the internet. Where everybody has been going on about it, and I'll read some of the comments that some people posted on the Twitter, because I got it from somebody who was having issues pertaining to her bank account, and she was very worried about the situation, and she felt, okay, this was your account, your Twitter message. I have lived in UK a few years now, and never has my bank ever charged me 1 penny for bank transfer. Never, not once. I am sorry, but that 52 naira 50 kobo that Nigerian bank deduct per transaction, what exactly is it for? Why is no one speaking out against this blatant fraud? And that cost you your Twitter account. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you.
So, yeah.
So, apparently, so probably some people felt, some people felt threatened, or they felt the better way to do it was to get my account on. But then, it was just for a few hours. I think Twitter rectified it themselves.
Yeah, I think, once an issue like that comes on, like I told you, when you're speaking out for the matter, and I think it was time that this subject came out. I'll read some of the comments. You had nearly 23 shares of people sharing it, and there are some people. These are some comments I'm going to quickly read out. It is supposed to be a tax brought on by this government as its inception. No account is given on how much is raised or what it is used for. It is simply daylight robbery. If you run a business as I do, at the end of the month, thousands are deducted, and that is just one of many accounts. Then you have, wait, I'm coming. We are programmed to wait for everything to happen in miracles. I wonder, you keep money in savings account, all you see is deduction for wicked charges, no interest gained. Very sad. I did like to believe that the CBN is aware of these deductions, or else they would have stepped in to stop charges by the banks. It is an open secret that banks make huge revenues from transfer charges alone, not to talk of other additional charges for other banking activities. Our banks are a bunch of monetarized coopers. Even lost or damaged ATM cards, you are charged 1,500 naira. Licensed thievery, which I totally agree with. My ATM got lost, and I told my bank I can't pay such amount. I go to the bank to withdraw. How can you pay such a ridiculous? Sometimes when people steal your things, so you still have to pay for it. Well, we need unity. I have been asking same question, but nobody seems to be bothered, and so on and so forth. And it is very sad that it's unfortunate that you still have some people still trying to be on the defensive end, saying that, but all countries charge, and sometimes ignorance kills. And I think it's always good for people to understand this is not about attacking anybody, but it's about the realistic situation that certain people from the vulnerable end of the society are in. And if a government is meant to be ruling, they should rule constructively and make sure that those people are not suffering, like what we are saying now about this issue of transaction, and your Twitter that went online and got everybody talking, and people started to talk about how much they've been charged, and the ridiculous. And this, I think, is not just by your Twitter alone, but it has made people to realize certain awareness. And what I expect the government, among other authoritative financial this thing needs to do in Nigeria now, is to go back on the drawing board, including CBN, to find out why this is happening and why those ridiculous charges. Because a country is meant to be developing, and if you have people that are trying to save up for their rainy day, and then consistently money is being taken out of their account, it's very off-putting. I think somebody is trying to call us. I don't know. Sorry. 1 second. Hello, can you please call the show itself? There's a number for you to call. We're not able to use this number at the moment. Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, sorry, I'm on the program. Are you calling to speak on the phone? Hello? Okay, she's going to call back anyway. If you guys want to call in, please use the number is attached to the caption of the live Facebook Live program. So I know that some people are trying to call earlier on, but unfortunately we are on the we're on the phone. So basically you can put your comments on the comment box for others to be able to read. Thank you for everybody else who has actually participated, put their comments in the box and everything. And also for I'm just going to quickly call one or two people because before we round up, she was meant to be on the show. Actually, it was her that triggered this whole this before I came. Your issue came to me, and I decided to take it up on board and to talk about it. You understand? So she also wanted to come and say something regarding this payment issue and what she had to face and the way the whole thing. And she just, I want is to appeal about the situation that this nonsense needs to stop, and the way that the government themselves are not doing anything consistent about it. And we need to try and make sure that the government, this current government, ruling government, or any other government that is involved in this, needs to understand this is not a matter of any form of attack or anything, but it's the fact that you need to work for the people. And this issue is really, really very depressing and sad, especially for the people that's on the vulnerable side, who cannot fight for themselves, who do not understand why they are being charged so many things. Not everybody is computer literate, and so there are certain ways of doing things without making it giving them the impression that they put their money in. They're supposed to, they use the bank as a safe place, not to then be charged ridiculous amounts, and whereby it's unexplainable. So the bank needs to do something constructive. CBN, the government needs to get financial ombudsman in place, and this is to help those who genuinely do not know what to do or where to complain to. That for a country as Nigeria, that is meant to have been to a point of where it is, it should be they should have a financial ombudsman, whereby if anything goes wrong, obviously an intermediary between the banks and the consumers themselves. So I don't understand why this is something that is not taken seriously, dealt with properly. We are going to come back again on the issue, and like I said, unfortunately, we're going to round up because time is against us. But what is your last intake on this?
What is my last?
Your last intake on the situation. What do you want? Okay, Aji Adegbite, thank you. Watching from Libya. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please share the program. We're talking about those bank charges and all the situation that is going on, regarding those the charges that they're charging people in Nigeria. Apparently, we're hearing now from other viewers on the show and friends from across the globe like yourself that the same thing is happening in West Africa, different parts of West Africa, in Ghana, Tanzania, and this needs to stop. So we are hoping, hold on a minute, we are hoping this consistent something issue stops, and then to allow people to know that they do have financial and legal rights to know what to do in this situation. We are hoping that the government look into this, central bank, because if it is your money, it's the way the whole thing is being mapped out. If it's a private bank, the private bank should know that whatever the constituent making the money should not be to the point they are stealing from their consumers, and that's what they're doing right now. You're stealing from those who have entrusted their money into your accounts. You're stealing from them to pay the central. So there should be some sort of law against such nonsense. Nobody is talking about the charges not being done. Obviously, if there's bank overdraft, you will charge them. If they don't pay their money, but there's things like card maintenance. Are you washing those cards? What are you doing to them? Do you clean them specifically? If there's the banks are coming, the cards are coming to the consumers and customers. Obviously, sometimes some people are very careless, wasting money. But if it's a point where that they have police reports that their card got stolen and everything, they should be able to get it free. Why are you charging for that? So for an elderly person, a vulnerable person, or less privileged, or somebody that is not educated enough that, okay, I just walked into the bank to open an account, only to be told that my account, I've opened this thing, you forced me, you've encouraged me, you gave me tea, you told me, don't worry, the perks with it, you get interest. What is the interest rate I'm getting if half of the time the money in my account is being taken away from me with charges? All the charges that I'm reading here, why would central bank regularize such? What do you mean by card maintenance? You're just to even issue a check, you're charging. But yet and still, these same people come abroad, they have accounts abroad, they are not being treated that way. Or are they going to deny that they don't have accounts abroad as well? Do they charge you in your own accounts? These are things that we need to start asking. Questions need to be asked in order to know the reason why people are being charged these ridiculous amounts. Bank charges. In all countries, bank charges are not meant to make your consumer or those who you call your customer to feel uncomfortable about putting their money into your bank. It is meant to help them to save up. So how are people going to be saving when all the money goes on bank charges? So we need to start talking. These things are not to attack anybody, but to create the awareness, to make people understand that there's certain things that are wrong, and part of developing a country is to analyze or to emphasize on certain issues that needs to be dealt with. This is one of them. If many of these people who are meant to be the directors, the big men of the companies, of the banks, of the CBN, of the political leaders and stuff like that, have bank accounts abroad, you benefit of it. So why are you making the lives of the consumers, the masses of the country suffer? Why are you making them suffer? Why are you charging them ridiculous amounts? Because you're preying on the vulnerability and gullibility as well. That is fraud. And that needs to stop. The charges should be a reasonable charge, pending the fact that if a company, obviously companies make money, but not to the point that when you're going to overcharge, overcharging the company to the point that the company then goes bankrupt. But you have to sit down and think about this, and this is the reason why Nigeria needs to have a financial ombudsman that will be able to monitor, to regularize, to make sure that all the financial laws, the regulatory system, the banking system, the consumers and the banks themselves are doing what is right by the, which is all in your constitution as well. And these are the reasons why sometimes we go on and on about things like this, because things needs to improve, not get worse. There should not be negativity in everything that we're doing, especially where you are saying that you want the country to develop, you want the people to develop. How are you doing that if you are then taking unnecessary money? As I've read some of the comments on the comment box where people are complaining bitterly that even them as business owners, they are having problems with the way that money is being siphoned from their accounts via this bank charges. And some of those bank charges that has been read makes no sense. You're charging somebody from going into their account. You're charging somebody from coming out of their account. You are charging somebody from withdrawing money, their money, not your money, from their account. So, irrespective of which, you don't have, if it's a current account with different types of current accounts that you've put in place, obviously you have the regular current accounts, you have those accounts that have all the perks, then those ones you can charge them for all the perks that comes with the account. But if they decide they just want a regular current account, why would you then be charging them for money coming out and money going out? This is just ridiculous. And to the point that it becomes very worrisome. They get scared, they get tired, they then end up, owing the bank when they're not even overdraft charges and stuff. So we need to start thinking. This is basically to help those who are the vulnerable consumers, that the vulnerable human beings of the society. There's a lot happening across the globe, but because another person who called to complain bitterly about this, and then my lovely Dr. Olufumilayo's Twitter message was sent to me as well, that pertaining to the issue, and this is why it's being discussed today, to make sure that a lot of people have the awareness that certain things are going on. And if you as a consumer yourself, you don't read those small prints, people will take advantage of you. You're not able to understand the situation behind your charges. You don't ask questions. If the banks are refusing, it is quite frustrating. Bring them on social media. Let people know what is going on. Obviously, things like this, I get it all the time. And if it's something that I'm able to bring out there to call the attention of the government to look into it, to allow people to, for those people that are voting you guys in, for you to know that there's certain things going on in the vicinity. Sometimes, I think we mentioned this, that the minister herself might not know what is going on. The big people might not know. It could be the managers. This is just between them. So sometimes these things needs to be in the open, so that they can do something about it. Make sure that this issue is being solved, and we'll continue to monitor it. And that's the only thing we can do, because I know that this is not the end of this matter. It's going to continue. And I think a lot of people are having the awareness now. They are bringing it out in the open. So, but for those people that, like I said, are the vulnerable human beings of the society, who would just crawl into their shell, they won't even bother anymore. Because a lot of things that happens is that they'll just say, okay, well, I don't want any stress, let them take it, God will provide. No, it is wrong. That it's fraud. If for money that is not supposed to, or it's not allowed, even no matter what it is, those charges needs to be reviewed. Then Nigeria also needs to put a financial ombudsman in place, so to help those who are able to complain and speak to somebody for this to be investigated. A nation cannot say you're practicing democracy and then you are not doing the right thing by the people, and then yet and still you want them to vote you in. This malign nonsense needs to stop. Dr. Olufumilayo, thank you so much. I know that tomorrow you've got to go to you've got an early day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for explaining the reason behind your Twitter message that has gone viral. And I'm sure that this is not the end of the situation. People are still going to write in. People are still going to phone in. I'm sorry, my darling sister. Unfortunately, I couldn't get you online, so I wanted you to speak a little, because I know that your case was one of the reasons why this happened. And lo and behold, our lovely doctor had also put out a Twitter as well regarding the matter. So a lot of things needs to be done. Hopefully I'll bring you back again. We're gonna have a part 2 of this, because I'll be following it myself to see what the government themselves do regarding the matter and how this is being taken up upon. Like I said to you, Dr. Olufumilayo, you do not know what you've done, but you've done a good thing. It is not a negative thing. And sometimes, we do things to help others, and this is an eye-opener. It's going to be an eye-opener for those who are very vulnerable, and I think we need to start creating that awareness, encouraging people to know what their legal and financial and other fundamental and among other rights are, so that they don't fall a victim. Because the more we create awareness and educate people, the more the knowledge they are going to gain, and they will know that, you know what, this thing is wrong, what is wrong is wrong. The leaders are there to lead constructively and genuinely to be patriotic towards the masses, to help people, not to be the other way around, whereby they cannot talk, they cannot do things. So, okay, guys, thank you for tuning into Facts of Life with Abbilicious. Sending all your informations, sending all the things you send to me. I'll continue to make sure that positive things are being done regarding, the growth of each country. My friends from Tanzania, my friends from Ghana, among other African countries, who have mentioned that they're going through the same thing. I'm going to have one of you guys very soon to talk about your own issues in your own countries as well. So we'll continue to do what is right, create the awareness, educate and enlighten people to know what their legal, human rights, fundamental, constitutional rights are, and to also make sure that the government are working for the people. So take care, guys, and have a fantastic weekend coming. God bless you. Bye. Hello, my darling.